What's up, Macabre fam? We're back for Macabre Madness!
Madness.
2021! Oh man, I'm loving it, guys. Well, cheers to the Macabre.
Cheers.
Madness and mayhem. And
Sorry, I'm drinking water like a waymo.
no, I was gonna ask, what are you guys drinking? I thought you almost had like some vodka Sprite in there or something.
Oh, I'm not that clever.
That's
Jessica, Champ, what are you drinking today?
I have an Avery IPA. Avery is one of my favorites. It's a Boulder, Colorado company, and they are delicious. So,
Ryan, what you got?
I have a fancy sparkling water, very tasty, a Coors Light.
You're funny. That's a good one.
I know.
Rocky Mountain water, baby.
New jokes. Love it.
Well, it's Rocky Mountain piss water, actually.
Sparkling water, all right, Idaho person.
Yeah, I have the Blood of Dublin, Guinness draft, because St. Patty's Day. Now that I'm an adult, I don't drink all 12 Guinness that I buy in one day anymore. They're still going strong a week after St. Patty's.
I was gonna say, if you're still having hair of the dog at this point, and that must have been a hell of a St. Patty's.
I was gonna say, was it just because St. Patty's Day was on a Wednesday?
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
Another sign of adulthood.
But mostly because I'm an old bitch these days.
Yeah.
Well, Macabre Madness, we are deep into Macabre Madness, and we are ready for the opening rounds of Macabre Madness. And first, let's start with Champ. Jessica, two-time champ of Macabre Madness. Champ, remind us, what did you pick to win the whole thing?
Unshockingly, I chose a zombie flick and a foreign film. So I went with Train to Busan from 2016, South Korean zombie film on a train, which I just watched for the first time last night. Full disclosure, it was amazing.
Train to Busan! Yeah, I agree. I watched it the other day too, and it was it's a fucking contender.
Yeah.
Now back to Old Man Graham. What did you
Born again virgin? I chose Terrifier.
Terrifier for the win. But that wasn't your money choice. When we first put money down, I think you had Silence the Lambs.
I did, but like thinking back to it, in 2018, I saw Terrifier for the first time. And that's like the most fucked up movie, like horror movie wise, pretty much, I feel like, that I've seen. It has like your gay little clown looking thing on the movie title on Netflix or whatever. But like when he saws that bitch in half, man, like it had me right there.
Dude, it is some of the gnarliest stuff I've seen. Well, just scroll down, Macabre fans, because if you go down, we've got a scream grab, actually a raw cut scream grab, where the three of us, me, Johnson, and Ryan, were talking about Terrifier in the first time we saw it. And let's say that all of us, we are horror aficionados, and it still managed to like, it was like the first time you saw it. It was just like, you weren't sure.
I don't know. Yeah, I was blown back by it. Honestly, the first time I was kind of speechless. There were some gnarly death scenes. I thought I've seen every death scene. It was one of the more creative B movies that should be an A+ movie. I don't know. It's a wonderful underdog. That's our Cinderella story.
And now Cinderella coming out. And we've got underdog, Kaylin, the underdog lamb. Kaylin, remind us, what did you pick for the whole enchilada?
I picked the Babadook, which, full disclosure, I still haven't watched. I'm slow, guys. I'm slow.
I
think I actually have to pay for it to watch it right now because I don't think it's on a subscriber service.
paid $3.99 for Train to Busan. Totally worth it.
All right.
Just watch Train to Busan instead. In just a minute, that's the winner, and it'll be a lot faster and cheaper for you.
I think I actually knocked Train to Busan pretty early.
That's your mistake.
I think I did.
I really thought Kaylin would pick Silence of the Lambs. Ha ha ha. Not intended.
I guess I didn't kick it out that early.
Oh man. Yeah, I got to say that Babadook, that is one that we had it last year, and I was so disappointed that it got knocked out so early. So I am pushing for Babadook to at least make it to the Sweet 16 round this year. Sue us, NCAA, sue us. Sue us for all we're worth.
Not fingers crossed to the suing, fingers crossed to Babadook.
No,
Actually,
I think
I got
we
a-
should call
I
it
got
the
a good-
Savage 16. That's where it's at.
Savage 16, I like it.
Ooh, yeah.
The Savage 16. Look at that branding as we go.
Flashing 16.
Oh, slashing's good too.
Hmm.
Yeah.
We do like our slash. Well, Phil likes his slasher movies.
Let's say.
I love them. Let's see. And we had Johnson Juggernaut. He was picking. I think he had Midsommar going for the win, and I finally saw Midsommar the other day, and another contender, another serious contender. I avoided that movie like the plague because it got so much hype, and I don't really like watching movies that have hype. It's like Terrifier. I hadn't heard a damn thing about it. I turned it on, and I was just enthralled by the whole movie. Midsommar had so much hype. But it did mostly live up to it. So Johnson picked
it's worth watching.
Yeah, I think the reason I kicked Train to Busan off my bracket was because it came up against Midsommar.
Ooh.
In my bracket.
They come up fairly soon, I think.
It does. It comes up early.
Good chat. Yeah.
It comes up real early. Well, here, we'll go ahead and we'll take a look at that bracket real quick before we get in.
What was your pick, Phil?
Oh, and my pick.
Yeah.
I had Deep Red, the old Gallo film, the 1975 Italian slasher, the proto slasher, the original slasher, like the fucking great godfather of slashers.
Phil's a hipster.
The king slasher.
He's like, I liked slashers before they were cool.
Yeah. Actually, I mostly picked it because I need to expand my slasher knowledge, and this was this is like a proto slasher. This is like, it came out within months of Black Christmas, which was an inspiration for Halloween, which a lot of people think of as the original slasher. And so these two films, you got to think that even though Black Christmas came out before it, they were probably in production around the same time. And so I would also say that this one is Dario Argento, like the king of old school horror, the Italian director. He did Deep Red, and I watched that one too. I told myself to watch all the contenders, so I did, and I've seen them all. And I got to say that Deep Red is the winner.
Interesting.
You're going down.
We'll see. The people will speak. Going down.
Well, I'd love to see you at a WWE match with all these faces you're making.
So every time I hear Deep Red in my head, I see oh god, I'm forgetting his name with the cowboy hat. WWE guy.
Hulk Hogan?
No, not Hulk Hogan.
He wore a cowboy hat sometimes.
Not Randy Newman. That's the fucking Toy Story.
Oh, Macho Man Randy Savage?
Randy Savage, yeah. Deep Red!
Dude,
no, Phil, you should be the announcer, dude.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You guys want to hear some funny Knoxville trivia?
Let's hear it.
Since this is where I live now. You know the horror movie See No Evil with Kane, the wrestler?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's my mayor.
Wait, okay, Kane?
Yeah, Kane is the mayor of Knoxville. Well, he's the mayor of Knox County specifically, but
Ryan knows the brother of the Undertaker is the mayor of Knoxville.
Yep.
Yeah, that's Kane, dude.
Yeah,
I grew
Kane,
up on
the
it. I
brother of
watched
the Undertaker.
WWF before it's WWE.
The
Monday Night Raw. Dude, like when we got
Kane's
cable.
backstory was that he was like burned or something, so he always wore like a heavy mask
red
and he never
black
talked.
thing, and he had a mask.
Yeah,
when you look at him,
talked.
like but very intelligent apparently if he's mayor.
He is. He's actually he's the mayor of my county.
Wow.
Because instead of having like county commissioners, they have a city mayor and a county mayor.
Huh.
You know what? That makes sense. Jesse Ventura, like you know who that is, right, Phil?
I was just saying,
dude, he was mayor.
We're infatuated with.
Then he got his arm blown off in Predator.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
He had the minigun, man. He had the sweetest fucking gun there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, every time I see No Evil on my Hulu checklist, I'm like, it's my mayor.
Dude, isn't fucking stupid ass Matthew McConaughey running for mayor in Texas or governor or some shit?
You watch your mouth about Matthew McConaughey.
No, I cannot, dude. I had a roommate who mocked that mother. I cannot stand Matthew McConaughey, man.
That's unfortunate for you and your roommate.
Ooh, we got the trash talk already.
And it's not even about horror movies. It's about sweet baby Matthew McConaughey.
Talking.
Right?
Hey, I love Matthew McConaughey because he keeps getting older, and I have the same crush.
No shit, man. You guys are as corny as can be. No one knew you well.
Hey, I just watched Amityville Horror with Ryan Reynolds simply to see Ryan Reynolds. So,
but he actually does a pretty good job, though.
Like, not even ashamed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
He's shirtless in a lot of it, and it's great. It's great cinema, guys.
But not good enough to make Macabre Madness because it is nowhere on this bracket.
Mm-hmm.
Next year, maybe.
We could add a whole category for hot sideshows.
We could do male versus female. You guys, girls pick the males. Phil and I and Chris will pick the female.
I'll do it. I don't know. I'm down. Whatever.
Let's do it. That'll be our.
Because we got like Scream Queen versus whatever you guys have for your male.
Yeah, whatever.
Hell hunks? I don't know.
Just Ryan Reynolds. Yeah.
Where's Ryan?
Just Ryan Reynolds. We did have a
Scream Queen versus Ryan Reynolds.
So that's
we did have a Freddie Prinze Jr. spiral as well.
That's true.
Yeah. I feel like that is where the 90s would shine because you got Freddie Prinze Jr., you've got Rob Phillippe, Ryan Phillippe, yeah.
Well, then you got everybody coming out of Scream too. Like what homegirl, Neve Campbell. Whatever happened to Neve Campbell?
She's around doing things.
Hanging out.
She's just the 90s person.
Hanging out.
What are you waiting for?
Who was the dude that you love so much, Phil, that got the TV dropped on us?
That was Jennifer Hewitt, wasn't it? What are you waiting for?
No, that was What are we waiting for?
Yeah.
Yes, excellent.
After she finds the mollusk body in her trunk, yeah.
Yeah, that nobody smelled. Who's like full of crabs. So like, how bad does her car smell normally? That no one noticed.
Right, dude. Like I tried hiding pot in my trunk, and I could smell that coming through. How can you not like have a dead body?
I was like, fish. How do you not smell fish?
Yeah, the fish would smell worse.
The worst smell.
Yeah, it's a bad smell.
Oh God.
We're so easily sidetracked.
Yeah, we are. Well, so speaking of decades, remember that this year's Macabre Madness, it was split up by decades. And so we did the random draw. We had decades, 60s horror all the way up through, or it was 70s horror all the way through 2010s. And then we had the wild card bracket where we picked some random selections at the last minute. And that's what was going up against each other. So you can see that when we did the random draw, we've got like 2010s up against 2000s, 2010s up against 70s. And I cannot wait to see how this bad boy is going to go. So are you ready for round one? Round one. And this year we have money riding on it. So that's why this means more this year.
Like dollar money, not like money.
Like cash money. Like somebody's going to go ahead and win some real money between us when we're done. And then you listening at home, if you send us your bracket and you manage to beat any of the Macabre, you are in the running for a Macabre prize pack. And it's going to come with a custom t-shirt, custom stickers, and some films that will be hand selected by us here at Macabre Bros and Bras. So keep your bracket tuned. Send it into us. You can send it anytime. Well, I would say anytime right up until we get into the final rounds. Once we get past the semis, there's no going further than that. So play fair. If this was NCAA, we would have made you submit your shit ages ago. But we're not going to take advantage of you like the NCAA does. We want you to win. We want everyone to win. All right.
Don't sue us.
Just don't sue us. All right. So round one, we swapped it out this year. Round one was determined by Metacritic score. And we're going to go one by one through the 60 films that we got, making this lightning round. Metacritic round one. Let's see what it is. And we had Curse of La Llorona up against Devil's Rejects, and Devil's Rejects for the win.
Woo.
Devil's Rejects.
Nice.
I saw that
I
one.
can't go wrong there. Those are two.
That one.
But it's shitty like when two of your movies go up.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. I feel like that happens to me all the time, where it's like always my picks against my picks. It's hard.
Like the catch-22, right? Like you win no matter what, but then like you already got a movie knocked out.
Yeah, one of them's knocked out, which is a bummer.
Mm-hmm.
Then coming up next, we had Midsommar up against The Thing, and fuck, The Thing just got annihilated, 57% on Metacritic.
Really?
Yeah, which
I thought that one had a higher score.
Me too.
But Midsommar also did not score so well, 72%
Yeah.
on Metacritic for Midsommar, which was like that critical darling of 2019. So
That's one that I think would have also been tighter on Rotten Tomatoes, because I think they both scored in the 90s on Rotten Tomatoes. We'll find out for sure next round, but
yeah, we'll see that in the second round. Coming up next, Train to Busan against Wes Craven's New Nightmare, a personal favorite of mine. And Train to Busan, moving on to the next round. Train to Busan, 72% up against 64% for Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Next round after that, we had Blair Witch Project up against Sinister. And Blair Witch took this one to the house, 81%.
Wow.
Blair Witch.
That surprises me.
Yeah, I picked Sinister for that one.
Sinister would crush it.
Because Sinister
that is what you call veteran experience right there.
Well,
Right.
isn't Sinister though? Sinister's the one that if you put like there, it comes up in that article all the time that if it's like that, whatever that test is, it's rated as one of the scariest movies
One of the
because of
scariest
that
movies
test.
of all time.
Yeah,
Dumb stuff.
which is shocking to me because I didn't find it that scary, but
yeah,
what do I know?
I mean, it was scary, but it wasn't like, there's other ones on this list that I find much scarier.
Same.
I agree. Ooh, now this was an upset round to be.
Yeah, this is
of all upsets.
Yeah.
I'm
Carrie,
shocked.
original Carrie up against The Shining.
No.
And Carrie takes down The Shining. What the actual fuck?
That screws up
That's
a lot of my
bullshit.
That
bracket.
happened last year. Didn't Carrie like surprise us in how far it got? We need to stop picking this film.
That would be my fault. Sorry, guys. But I
You pick a winner.
did pick a winner.
It's like going with Georgetown. Everybody.
But I also, in my own bracket, didn't pick Carrie.
Yeah, you should have picked Carrie to win, apparently. Forever.
Carrie made it to this. Carrie made it to the semis.
Almost semifinals. I think it was like we were deciding whether or not she would defeat Jaws or something.
Yeah.
I'm remembering
It was
correctly.
an awesome conversation.
It was.
Luckily, Jaws won that one because he's got fucking teeth.
But it was a close one. It wasn't like, oh, he just eats her. It was like a whole discussion. Like
I do remember this. It was very in depth.
Yes.
Yeah, we went back and forth for a while.
We gave it its due, trust us.
But Carrie, moving on, taking out The Shining, the showdown of Stephen King, and Carrie gets the win. Next one up, we had Prom Night 80 up against Halloween 78. So we had Jamie Lee up against Jamie Lee, and Halloween comes away with the win by a huge margin. Prom Night got a 45% on Metacritic.
I didn't think it was that bad.
It's got the disco dance scene halfway through. Like,
This is what was made for. Was Prom Night made before Halloween? Wait, no.
Yeah.
Or 1980, 1978.
78 up against 80.
It's probably because they're just upset that Prom Night was made when disco was starting to go stale.
Yeah, you make a disco scene in the 80s and
People are like, we're done with
Been
that.
done. Forward next.
All right, one of the closest matchups
That
we had.
is wow.
Sunshine up against Sleepy Hollow from 1999 with Johnny Depp, and Sleepy Hollow squeaking by with the win, 65 to 64%.
And the only reason that is because of Johnny Depp too, right? I mean, Sleepy Hollow
is just as hot. If we're gonna go back to
Speaking of
this
side
discussion.
hunks,
Yeah.
this was like Johnny Depp in his prime before he got weird.
True. This was better Johnny Depp.
This was good. This was like peak Johnny Depp.
But like the movie was not as good. Like Sunshine is a really kick-ass movie, and Sleepy Hollow does not hold up. I'm sorry, it doesn't.
I agree with you 100%, Jessica.
Sunshine is a top 3 sci-fi movie for me. Absolutely. It's like we're up there with Alien and Star Wars. Like it really is.
I know. I'm sad.
Johnny Depp, guys.
This
Come on.
Cillian Murphy, come on, guys.
Okay, fair enough.
And Rose Byrne, come on.
I know Rose Byrne, like that.
Rose Byrne.
Chock full of hot people. Come on.
Come on.
It's like
all right, but either way, Sleepy Hollow. Moving on to the next round. Let's see. Now we had Children of the Corn 84 up against Pan's Labyrinth, and this was a no contest at all because Pan's
Wow.
Labyrinth 98%. Children of the Corn
Wow.
45.
That one
I'm
might be
embarrassed on that one.
That'll
Wow.
go, that depending on what its Rotten Tomato score is, that could kick some serious butt.
Yeah.
And remember that Juggernaut Johnson was saying Pan's Labyrinth, he does not consider it a horror movie. So I love to hear his explanation on that one when we get around to that. Because yes, I imagine Pan's is going to keep going forward.
Probably. I should have go further.
And unfortunately, we've got the matchup that kills Graham's bracket. Terrifier up against Creep, and Creep gets
Total bullshit. Whoever is watching scary movies should slap themselves in the face. Like, this is bullshit right here. They have no business watching horror movies if this is what we're
Creep actually got an incredibly high score.
Yeah, that's
74.
surprisingly high. Because
People
it's
loved that
like
movie.
a little independent film, isn't it?
People loved it. It just wasn't for me. Like, I wasn't a huge fan of it, but like it was one of those kind of Midsommar-esque with like how much people were obsessed with it. I feel like for a while.
blame it on the cover of Terrifier. They really need to change that.
Yeah, go watch Terrifier. It's still free on Netflix.
I feel like I just got punched in the stomach right
Yeah.
now.
You feel like you got the Terrifier?
Yeah, I want to go cry. This is bullshit.
Yeah, that's like throwing down many hundreds of dollars on an NCAA bracket where your winner gets taken out of the first round.
It's like
Yeah.
Or
dude
your
getting
Macabre
beat
Madness
by-
Like what most people experienced recently.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mhm.
So as of right now, Jess is still in because she picked Train to Busan, and we haven't gotten to Filler Eyes
Chris-
yet.
Yeah, we haven't gotten to
for
the others.
Midsommar.
Okay.
But we're getting there. We're getting there. Midsommar moves on as well. Yeah. Now let's see. We had 78 Dawn of the Dead, the original, up against Urban Legend. No contest there. 71% to 35%. Dawn of the Dead takes the win. Now we have Death Proof up against Hills Have Eyes from 77. The original Hills Have Eyes, and this one was a bigger blowout than I expected. Death Proof 77%. Moving on to the next round, beats Hills Have Eyes, which got 64%.
It's a good movie. I'm excited.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. This was like the duke out of the people that shouldn't have been in the tournament in the fucking first place. We had Ghosts of War, a 2020 movie, up against Freddy vs. Jason, and Ghosts of War gets the win, 38% over 37%.
Did we say that was streaming free somewhere? Because
It's on Netflix.
Ryan, you said you described it and I hadn't seen it. It sounded awesome, and I want to see that one still.
Yeah, Johnson was the one who recommended Ghosts of War.
Mhm.
And I checked that one out too. It is twisty. It's good. It's better than 38%. Let me put it that way.
Fair.
Yeah. All right. Now we got moving on. We got Tremors up against the Babadook. Ooh, and goddamn Tremors just can't catch a break.
I felt so bad for Tremors. I wanted it to get a little further before it got obviously knocked out, but it went up against a big one.
Right away, yeah.
Yeah. It got screwed in the first round. So Babadook moves on 86% to 65%. Now we have Toxic Avenger, my kind of left field 80s choice, up against Nightmare on Elm Street. Both came out in 84. Go figure.
Yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street, of course, takes the win, 76% to 42%. And then going Paranormal Activity up against The Fog from 1980. And I was a little surprised at first, but then I thought about it. You know, the original Paranormal, actually pretty good. Paranormal
Yeah, the
take.
original's pretty solid.
First one. Mhm.
The reason I picked it is actually just because it was like they were really getting kind of experimental with that like found footage type thing where it was like completely compiled of the security, and even like the later ones get kind of crappy after a while, but they still kind of like continue that experimental. Like I think it's the third one where they take one of those like giant ass old TV cameras and he puts it on like an oscillating fan, and it's just they, you know, I give them credit for being creative, even though like as the story went on they got crappier and crappier, but the first one's pretty solid.
It's like any series. It's like the more creative they can get, the better it is. But the more they just try to repeat the same formula
Right.
over, the more you're like, oh, well, that was fucking lame. So
But like I dug Paranormal Activity because it was similar to the Blair Witch.
Yeah.
Like the Blair Witch was like the first movie where you're getting live footage.
Yeah, that found footage.
Right.
That was like the natural progression, sort
Yeah.
of like the baby or the evolution from Blair Witch. I imagine there'll be some halfway decent Zoom movie next.
Probably.
So there's already a handful. I haven't watched them, but
People, well, I was gonna say it'll be like people zooming on their phone and stuff.
there's a couple that came out recently, actually like during the pandemic, that like some indie ones that sounded cool. I don't know their names off the top of my head, but that'd be worth diving into.
But I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I do remember hearing about it, and that they were relatively well done. At least one or two of them were.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, now moving on. Let's see. We got another shocker. Invasion of the Body Snatchers, 78, with Donald Sutherland up against Get Out, a new critical darling.
Wow.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers taking the win. 90.
No, this screws my bracket. I Get Out like almost all the way to the
I
end.
did too. Get Out made it pretty far for me.
Ooh.
That's at 92%. That's a pretty high score.
That's
Yeah.
I didn't realize, yeah.
It's a really high score.
Yeah, I had Body Snatchers actually going on real deep in my bracket. So it was a tough choice though, because I really enjoyed Get Out. It was a great film.
I have Get Out going up against Train to Busan, if that gives you any indication for how far it goes in my bracket. So
Now I'm curious how far
Going
it
up
goes in
against
my
champs.
bracket.
yeah. I'm
Right,
like crossing them off as we go here. So yikes.
right.
I'll probably go in later and fix mine.
All right. We got
I had Get Out going against Babadook and then losing. So I didn't I guess I had it semi-far.
you had it going pretty far. Yeah, you had to go deep. But yeah, Get Out, knocked out first round. That is like your bona fide number one seed getting knocked out in the first round.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, coming up next, we got Fido up against Swamp Thing from 1982, and Fido takes the win. And if you haven't seen Fido, I just one thing to say about it. You know, at the end of Shaun of the Dead, when he's hanging out with his buddy and he's a zombie and they're playing video games together, it's a continuation of that.
I've heard good things about it. I haven't seen it.
convinced me.
I've heard good things. Yeah.
So it's not the same characters, but it is the same idea that in the future we have zombies as pets.
I could be down with that.
Yeah,
I
right.
could roll with that.
All right. Oh, and this was a heartbreaker just because the 90s didn't fare so well in our bracket. We had The Exorcist, heavy hitter, up against Scream, and The Exorcist takes down Scream.
It's not a fair matchup.
No, it's not.
It's like it's two separate movies essentially. Like
Yeah.
Scream would have been better off paired with something different.
Yeah. But the crazy thing is, Scream, it got a 65%, not a very high score.
Yeah.
Neither did Exorcist, 81%. Not a very high score either, especially when you're thinking that we had 98s for some of those films.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, it just goes to show that Metacritic is a funky system. It is so different than Rotten Tomatoes. It tends to score lower, much lower, I believe. All right, now moving on, we had Evil Dead 81 up against Mary Ann, which was a 2019 TV series. I haven't seen it yet. That was one of Johnson's picks, and I've got it in question marks here. Well, I can tell you after running these numbers, I forgot to change it. Mary Ann moves on.
Wow.
Mary Ann had a higher score. It didn't have a Metacritic score. So what I did, we talked about this. For anything that didn't have a score, tiebreaker was audience score on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
And so maybe not apples to apples, but it had a higher score by quite a bit. So Mary Ann, moving on.
I'm good with that. Evil Dead it's fucking terrible. I hate that movie. Sorry. Move on. Terrible movie.
The original is it's like a fine wine. You either hate it or you love
Yeah.
it. It is delicious.
I just
And
thought
I-
the monsters didn't even look like monsters. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I felt like I was watching the monsters. Like this wasn't scary. What was the dude? Never mind. We'll move on.
Oh Lord.
I can't.
All right. Then we had The Witch 2015 up against Twin Peaks TV series. Twin Peaks with the big win, 96%.
This is surprising to me. And I
Mhm.
picked both of these. I didn't think I love Twin Peaks, but season 2 compared to is this just season 1 or is this the whole show?
That is just season 1. That is the original.
Okay, that
David
makes sense
Lynch,
then.
92, yeah.
Because when I was doing it my bracket, I was like, season 2 is so terrible. So if it's the whole thing, that's really going to knock down its score, was my thought process. So I actually put The Witch going forward because I was like, I still haven't watched it yet, but that was my to watch pick. And I was like, I've heard awesome things about The Witch. So that's why I picked it going forward, because I assumed season 2 would be lumped in.
Yeah, and you know what, Kaylin, I did the same thing too, and I even knew that I had The Witch going on over Twin Peaks also.
Yeah.
But that's why I labeled it 92 series, because going by
Yeah.
decade, you had to stick with the
That
one
makes sense. Well, no, but like season 2 was right after like season 1.
Mm-hmm.
But what happened, so this is what my dad told me, and I've told you guys the story about how he had like the videotapes where he recorded the show. So what happened with Twin Peaks was basically David Lynch's plan was that they would never figure out who killed Laura Palmer, and they were just going to do this show for eternity until they got canceled. Well, halfway through filming, or like it was like when they just started filming season 2, they got told they were canceled. And so David Lynch was like, okay. And then you find out who killed Laura Palmer like 4 episodes into season 2. And then he spends the rest of the season just doing real weird shit that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. He just does David Lynch things for the rest of the show.
Which wouldn't be the worst thing if he at least had a reason to keep doing David Lynch things. But yeah, without any mystery, kind of loses it.
He kills off characters, and there's like weird shit happening, and he like takes the mystical part of Laura Palmer's murder and like really spins it into like a bizarre storyline that not a lot of people were thrilled with the ending of.
Weird.
Me being one of them.
Yeah. Twin Peaks, I'll put it this way. It was a TV show that I enjoyed it, but David Lynch has always been one of those I've been told to like him sort of directors. And
I don't like him.
I don't go out of my way for him.
Yeah. Woody Allen's the other one. Everybody's like, oh, you gotta love Woody Allen. And I'm like, I don't. I just don't.
How did that dude get such hot chicks?
It's a good question.
Woody Allen. Anyway, all right, moving on. We got Sublime up against Happy Death Day, and that was another one that Sublime didn't actually have a score on Metacritic, so I went to the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, and it still lost. Happy Death Day, taking the win. Moving on to the next round for Happy Death Day. All right. Ooh, now we got Silence of the Lambs up against Ready or Not, and no surprise there, Silence of the Lambs, the classic, the Oscar winner, going ahead.
I am bummed because I feel like I knew Ready or Not wouldn't win, but I wanted it to have like a little more time to kind of sit with us, because I super enjoyed that movie. It was so much fun, but it's not better than Silence of the Lambs.
No, but it's a fun movie though. It really is
super fun.
The blast. Bummer. All right, now we're coming up. Deep Red, my choice to go all the way up against Orphan from 2009, and Deep Red getting the win, 89% to 42%. Thank you.
Nice. Congrats.
I'm keep on moving forward.
You have to say the title that way again. Deep Red.
Deep Red.
I feel like in The Orphan, I just would have kicked the kid in the face.
I did not like that movie. It was boring.
No, thank you. Yeah.
There's certain movies like Child's Play is like that for me, and
it's not believable.
Pet Cemetery is like that for me, where it's like a 2-year-old kid in the book running around with the knife, and I'm like, why did you not just punt the kid? Like, just kick the kid. Literally kick the child.
I mean, at least in Pet Cemetery, it was his kid, so you're like, maybe there's like psychological, but like The Orphan or Child's Play, like punt away my
punt the kid.
Yeah.
Oh, everyone's dream everywhere to punt a child. And if it's child, it's not bad.
It's the dream.
It is the dream. It's the new American dream.
All right. To punt your haunting ghost.
To punt an evil knife-wielding child.
Yes.
Getting towards the end of first round.
Just go get your fix in.
Yeah. There's a whole town of them. Just go crazy.
All right.
Hunt away. It's like soccer practice out there.
It's like, what was that game like? Hit the mole, like at carnivals and stuff. Like whack-a-mole.
Whack-a-child in the corn.
Whack-a-mole.
Whack a child in the corner.
Oh man, they should bring that game. That should definitely be a side attraction as you're standing in line at the corn maze haunted house down in Denver.
Whack-a-child.
Yeah, whack a baby with corn.
I don't know, see, no, you should have a game of like, can you survive the zombie apocalypse and like smack little zombie kids in the face, maybe?
As long as they're evil, it's okay.
Right.
Right.
Knife wielding,
Nazi
zombie children.
Children of the corn, you can hit them all. Yeah.
Next.
Okay, let's see. Getting towards the end. So now we did have 2 exorcists, and the way that this worked was if anybody had 2 selections, basically if they could, keep on going in the bracket, and if they met together in the bracket, then they would just get a bye that round. And so the Exorcist moves on. It was up against the Crazies, and so in this matchup, it goes forward again. Both released in '73. Exorcist up against George Romero's Crazies from '73, and Exorcist took a big win, 81 to 63%.
That's a rough challenge for the Crazies. So I think The Exorcist in '73 was the first like real horror movie inside, the demon look. I mean, that scared a lot of fucking people.
I mean, it's still fucking scary. It's frightening.
Mhm.
Then we had Lords of Salem 2012, some zombie up against Nightbreed, and Lords of Salem moving on. Yes, finally a zombie movie go into the second round.
I'm shocked because I just heard how bad that one was, and I had Nightbreed, so I just assumed that any movie would beat Lords of Salem. That was a safe bet in almost any other matchup.
And Nightbreed's kind of a classic. Oh God, Lords of Salem was so boring too.
I didn't watch it. The trailer I was just like, no, I think I'm good.
It's a hard pass. Who picked it? Was that a Chris Johnson pick?
Nah, that was me. And the only reason I picked that over like Zombies Halloween 2 is because I picked Halloween 2 so many times and it's lost every single fucking time in the first round.
Right?
So,
it's like we're almost like picking bad taste to win these competitions now. Like, I don't understand people.
We need some advice from the champ on how to pick good movies.
It says the guy whose pick got knocked out in the first round. I feel your pain. It's a bummer.
Yeah, but it's
I
so
feel your
good.
pain, she
I
says.
don't understand.
Intellectually, I understand what that might feel like. I'm such an asshole.
Yeah, it's like high school all over again. It's like we're just gonna pick the most popular thing that is out there. We're not gonna watch anything. It's bullshit. All right, still about hurt right now.
Fair enough.
Sorry, buddy.
One.
It's terrible.
All right, and final matchup of this very first round, we had Trick or Treat up against Hereditary, and Hereditary moving forward with the win, 87% to 79%. Johnson was saying how much he liked Trick or Treat, and with a 79%, it makes me want to go check it out.
I've never seen it.
I haven't seen it either. That was one that I thought about putting in because it was on my want to see list.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, hell yeah. So there you have it. First round of Macabre Madness. Now moving on to round 2, our Rotten Tomatoes round. And this is the round that I think we might be able to predict, the scores a little bit easier, or at least we feel like we would be able to. And we have Devil's Rejects up against Midsommar, and Midsommar coming away with the win, 83% to 55%. The final zombie movie, or zombie getting knocked out. Second round.
No, it's not the final zombie. There's my zombies.
There's your zombies too.
Yeah.
I meant Rob.
The
Zombie.
Korean zombies, damn
Oh,
it.
Rob Zombie. I see. I was like, wait a
I
minute.
got you, Phil. I understand you.
The white zombie, not the Korean zombie. Yeah. And then next matchup we had Train to Busan up against Blair Witch. Ooh, this was a heavy hitting matchup. Train to Busan coming away with the win.
That is ridiculous.
Accurate. It is accurate.
No, that is not.
94% to 86% for
That
Blair.
good. It's
All right, that's pretty accurate.
That's a pretty strong matchup still.
Yeah, I had a good fight.
It's not quite as disparaging a gap as some of the other ones we've seen.
Mhm.
No, No, not quite as bad. Not bad at all. And actually, to be honest, Jessica, just to screw with the champ, I had Train to Busan get knocked out in the very first round. So that side of my bracket's all messed up.
They always underestimate the zombies and think we can make it through. We can just do it, and then boom, you're just swarmed and it's over, and you're one of them.
Done.
Yeah.
Dead. And
Mhm.
suddenly you're running backwards up an escalator.
Up the escalator. I know. That was a great
Yeah.
scene.
You
Yeah.
guys need to watch Train to Busan. It's fucking
It's
great.
on the list.
Along with everything else. All right. Ooh, another tasty matchup. Carrie against Halloween original. And Halloween comes away with the win.
That's a close one. 3%.
96 to 93%. Yeah,
Wow.
we had 90% scoring.
John Carpenter comes in and slashes Carrie.
Yeah. Taking out Carrie. To be honest, I'm not disappointed that Carrie got knocked out.
Nope, I'm
I don't
okay
want
with
to see
this.
her in another semifinal.
Even though I had The
Carpenter.
Shining beating Halloween, I'm still okay with this.
Yeah. Well, see, and to be honest, I had Halloween beating Shining. I had Carrie getting knocked out first round.
Ooh.
But yeah, that was a good one. So yeah, Halloween original Carpenter moving on to that third round. Sleepy Hollow up against Pan's Labyrinth. This time Johnny gets his head chopped off. Yeah, Pan moving on by a
Down.
huge amount. Pan's Labyrinth 95% to 69% for Sleepy
See,
Hollow.
that's a pretty disparaging gap.
That's
Yeah.
an embarrassing slap to the face. That's a CU choking to FSU sort of loss. Yeah. Go Buffs. All right. Now we have Creep, the one that took out Terrifier, up against Dawn of the Dead. And again, closer than anybody ever would have expected. But Dawn of the Dead, 78, comes away with the win. Dawn of the Dead had a 94%. Creep, 89%.
That's close. That's way closer than
That's
I would have thought.
Yeah.
I told you, people loved that movie.
Like,
They really did.
Do I need to watch?
Dude, no, people are just voting on what they know. No one's seen Terrifier. That's why.
I just like
No
it.
one's seen Terrifier.
Bark at me, Thomas.
Ryan is still hating first round losses.
No, it like literally pisses me off. Like, never, if I will move on. It's bullshit though. Like how is Death Proof moving on? Like, how is Death Proof scarier than Terrifier?
Oh, speaking of the next round, we had Death Proof up against Ghosts of War, and Death Proof coming away with a huge win.
Like, come on. Like, who is voting on this shit? Are they on crazy pills? This is
It
ridiculous.
might be. It's the internet. I mean,
Just
it's
blame
the
the crazy pills. That's it.
Like, it's high school all over again. It's a popularity contest. We're not going to watch these scary movies. We're just going to go with what our friends say.
Yeah, that's the internet. That is
Patchy.
only got 65%. So, but it just was up against, unfortunately, people didn't like Ghost of War that much. Surprising.
Yeah, I mean, Ghosts of War just gets a lot of hate for some reason. But again, I would recommend watching it.
Well known enough,
It's
probably.
twisty and turny. Yeah, it's twisty and turny.
I'm still gonna watch it. It's okay.
I'll still watch it.
I think you should. All right. Ooh, another juicy matchup. Babadook up against Nightmare on Elm Street, and a high scoring match that the Babadook runs away with. 98% for Babadook up against 94% for Elm Street. Any other matchup in Elm Street would have won. But
Yeah, that's
Babadook.
a squeaker, man.
And that is keeping Kaylin the underdog alive.
But I agree with that though. I put the Babadook, I think, in last year or whenever we did that.
Mm-hmm.
And that is like one movie that still bothers me. That is like one I don't really want to watch again.
It's creepy.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it just bugged me way too much. It's a great horror movie, but I don't want to watch it again. I'm good
There
with
were
it.
certain moments in that I like, you know how you get that like shiver like deep down, you're like, oh, and there were multiple moments like that where it was like, this is a real terrifying fear that I have that is being on the screen in front of me. So,
But
yeah.
like I'm happy with the matchup because that's like a Duke versus North Carolina.
Yeah, it's the sort of matchup that everybody would watch, whether or not they know anything about those teams, because yeah, both great films. Babadook and Nightmare on Elm Street, both great films.
So glad to see actually like two powerhouses.
It is interesting because I feel like a lot of the time we'll get like a powerhouse against the weak link that we think is going to do well, and the weak link gets knocked out. I feel like it's rare that pretty early on we get some of those like powerhouse.
That's why it was fun. Yeah, it was fun to do the random draw this year with different divisions going against different divisions instead of doing films against their own division.
Yeah, that was fun.
So it's like, let's see, and then we're moving on. Ooh, another like, this was another one that was a fun, tasty matchup. Paranormal Activity against Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And Invasion of the Body Snatchers keeps moving on.
That's a higher score for Paranormal than I would have expected on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, Paranormal had an 83%.
That's higher than I would have guessed.
Do I need to rewatch Invasion of the Body Snatchers?
Right?
I'm not remembering this movie very well. Like, it was a long time ago that I saw it, so maybe.
But I think
will say that the original is, well, this isn't the original. A 50s original that was based on the book that was written in like the 30s or something. But this one in the 70s, it I think it comes down to the time that it was released, post-Vietnam, Cold War, like hysteria in the US. Yeah, that's kind of what makes it stand out. And I mean, it is creepy. Mostly
the one that's the like that one, right? Like, yeah. Huh? Okay.
It's creepy,
but it's again.
I think it's mostly creepy because they relied on actors instead of effects, and all the other Invasion of the Body Snatchers relied on effects. And so, yeah. So in the end, it's just a kind of a quality movie. All right, now let's see. We had Fido up against The Exorcist and Exorcists. Moving on, taking down Fido, 83 to 72%.
What is Fido about?
So like I said, it's if we had zombies as pets.
It's like this little kid has a zombie pet friend. That's all I know, though. I've only seen the cover.
Yeah, and it's not giving anything away to let you know that the zombie pet gets off of his chain.
Okay.
So yeah, zombie apocalypse, but of our own doing, sort of thing. So it's like it's a cheeky British take on that's why I
British.
Dawn of the Dead when I think of it. Yeah, it's a cheeky British take on stuff like that.
So looking at this next matchup, I do think it's interesting that we picked 2 TV shows this year and they ended up getting matched up together.
They had to go together in the second round. Yeah, we have Mary Ann, the 2019 series, up against Twin Peaks, just the 92 season, and Mary Ann taking out classic Twin Peaks, 93% for Mary Ann to an 82% for Twin Peaks.
Impressive.
Yeah, which makes me think that Mary Ann might have to give that one a watch too.
Yeah.
Next matchup, we had Happy Death Day up against Silence of the Lambs, and poor Happy Death Day, Silence of the Lambs with a big win, 96% to a 72%.
Silence of the Lambs took out 2 of the like really fun, kind of like dorky comedy ones, like right away. Just like, no, yeah. Buffalo Bill, you're done. You're dead. Put the lotion on the skin.
Put the lotion on the skin. Would you kill me? Would you fuck me?
So scary. That is a really scary movie. It holds up so well.
Silence of the Lambs, and it's tight. There is not a single scene in that movie that doesn't belong. Like every time I watch it, I think that like it was edited to perfection.
It is also, I was gonna say, it is also, because I've read the book, and it is one of the few instances where it is like, I would say it's like 98% book. Like they don't add anything. They don't really change. Like there are some things they change, but they're so minimal that I actually don't even honestly remember what they are. Like there are changes, but they're very minimal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta read the book sometime.
Is incredible.
The book is amazing. So he wrote 3 books that deal with Hannibal Lecter. It's Red Dragon, Silence of the Lambs, and then the last one is Hannibal. And Red Dragon is the one I read first, and it is phenomenal. It is one of the best books I've ever read. It is so good. And he's got this little intro where he talks about how he came up with the Hannibal Lecter character, and it is like chilling. It's so creepy.
But
yeah, we in further rounds we should dig into that because
we'll discuss more because it's good. It's so good.
Now moving on, Deep Red up against Exorcist, and this was one that made me nervous.
Bill's
But-
bracket is on the line.
Bill, you faked it. Come on.
Deep Red with a 96% on Rotten Tomatoes. Exorcist with an 83. Exorcist, for whatever reason, people just don't rate it the way they, I don't know. Maybe it's remembered more fondly in our imagination than critics appreciate it.
No,
It's not
I-
flashy, but
like it was on a few nights ago, and I was just channel surfing, and I think a lot of it because it's older, and there are just some boring spots throughout the movie, and I think maybe that might get some people, especially like when they send Reagan through Austin and things like that. Speaking of which, I just hired a lifeguard named Reagan, and I was like, "Hey, have you seen The Exorcist?" And she's like, "Wait, what?" And I was like, "No, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it."
Never mind. Never mind.
You should show up dressed as a priest one day and offer to exorcise the demon from her or something.
Probably get fired.
I will say that
Or be a legend.
I actually I think
Thank
that's
you,
kind of the more
George.
interesting part of the book is when they go into like all of the testing they do on her to see whether like to try and
Mhm.
eliminate any medical. Yeah, I mean, but I think I agree with you though. I think in the book that's one thing. In a movie that's not. Like that's
But-
boring as shit.
But like if you were paying attention, I thought it was pretty fearful when the doctors couldn't explain to the mom what was going on.
Yeah.
But like if you were watching the movie, like the mom kind of have an idea, it's like she had an idea, but I think she was too scared
Yeah.
to
Mhm.
admit because it was out of her control, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like speaking of Silence of the Lambs, 2 books that were converted to films. And like I said, Silence of the Lambs, wonderfully, masterfully edited. There's no fat to trim. Whereas Exorcist, maybe it's
Yeah.
got some fat that you could trim. Some things that are more interesting in the book than they ended up being on screen.
Well, it's a slow burn. And I think if you're like super into it and you want to like analyze and go scene by scene, you'll find plenty in there. But if you're just kind of watching it, then that would feel like a drag if you're not really
Yeah.
digging into those details.
And like The Exorcist is a super long horror movie too. And that's like one of the harder movies to stay focused all the way through.
I feel like you're starting to break down too, the way like the priest and everyone is. It's like, man, we're still fighting this thing. We still have this
We're
creepy
still doing
hair.
this. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but it's very subtle. So yeah.
But
It's
that's
very
what
much
made
like
it
Rosemary's
scary to
Baby,
me.
like, yeah, you got to be in the mood.
Yeah, because you almost felt like what the priest was going through when you're watching that movie. It wore you out.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, it's a good movie as opposed to I would never watch Exorcist late night, but I would watch it on a Sunday afternoon. Sort of, All right, moving on. Lords of Salem up against Hereditary, and my zombie flick gets knocked out.
Thank God.
Hereditary.
Is that
Oh.
isn't Sherry Moon Zombie one of the lead characters in that movie?
She is the lead character.
Oh my God, I can't believe it got out of the first round. Jesus. All right.
Let's put it this way. She tried to maybe sort of learn how to act for that film. And so that maybe sort of kind of just a little bit rescues it. But yeah, not enough to, no.
Not like her Oscar winning scene from White Lady Ghost in Halloween 2.
She's fantastic there because she's in that movie for 5 minutes and then she's gone. And you're like, finally, some actors on the screen.
I thought Rob Zombie was doing us a favor in the first one when she blew her brains out, but apparently we
I thought so too.
wanted to put us through some more torture.
No, he had to keep hiring his wife to do things. What
Sounds
happens
like
with
Tim
us,
Burton.
right?
Well,
Although,
Depending on which wife you're talking about.
yeah, true. All right, now we got we have a couple more brackets. So because the way our bracket works, we had some films that just automatically were in the second round. Just whatever, just deal with it. Last House on the Left, 1972, up against Cube from 98. Ooh, this was a tight one.
Look at that.
Cube with the win, 63% to 62%, squeaking by 1 point.
who picked Cube?
Cube right here.
I do remember you talking about it. Yeah.
Fun film, great movie, a very 90s movie. It's like Matrix of horror sort of thing. Like, it was like when everybody was obsessed with hackers and
pleather.
technology and yeah.
Oh, I thought of it more of like a Hellraiser type of movie
Yeah.
because of the box or whatever.
Yeah, it's a fun one. It's good. I would recommend it. It Follows up against the remake of Hills Have Eyes from 2006, and It Follows crushing it.
Crushed. Yeah.
Jessica knows
That's
how to pick her 2010 movies. 95% to 52%.
Once we
That's
got to
fine.
the 2000s and 2010s, I had such a hard time picking movies because that's, like I said, where like I've really seen a lot, and I feel like my knowledge just lies in those ones. So yeah, that's one of my favorite movies is It Follows. It's so good.
And you know a good one with It Follows. Yeah, that one is that's another one that like it stays with you and creeps with you after you've watched it.
It's so
And I
funny.
feel like if I ever have kids, they will watch that movie. When they become teenagers.
Just like oh god. Yeah. I was gonna say like Teeth. Have you all seen Teeth?
Teeth
or
is
heard-
good. Oh, it's such a good movie.
seen
Yes.
one
What was the one we
I
saw
have a
down
teenage
in
daughter, she's
Telluride?
watching Teeth.
That
What
was
was that?
porno that you guys saw.
Porno.
Oh yeah, Porno was great.
Yeah,
It's a great movie.
That's a good one too. All right, and then our final matchup of round 2, we had Children of the Corn up against Texas Chainsaw, the original from '74, and Texas Chainsaw getting a big win, 89% to 35%. Children of the Corn getting some serious hate. I don't get that one.
It's not great. It's okay. I don't
just
know
think
if
it's
it's
good kids
35% bad, but it's not.
But a
great.
dog dies. Isn't that worth at least a 40% in a horror movie?
No.
What's
Whatever.
her? Speaking of like side pretty, she's totally 80s pretty, but that one chick is in it. Yeah.
I
Oh
can't
God.
remember.
Like what's
I
her
literally
name?
can't remember anything about that movie other than the meat grinder hand. Like,
Oh yeah. Oh.
That's memorable.
yeah.
The only thing
I
I
would give it a
really
six.
remember about that movie is my dad loves to just go around going, "It wants you too, Malachi," in this creepy voice.
Oh yeah, Malachi. That's right. He's named after like a fucking.
It's a biblical name.
But Texas Chainsaw, objectively a better film.
Yes.
Moving on to the next round. All right, guys, and now we are into round 3. and what
Linda
we're-
Hamilton from the Terminator movies is in it.
Yeah.
Oh,
80s pretty.
you're right. Like
That's who I was
They're
thinking
pretty.
of. I was like, what's her butt?
yeah.
You get a lot of horror. I mean, even like with Ghostbusters, I wonder if she has a ghost following her ass around.
All right, guys. Now on to the final round that we'll be doing this time. Round 3, and this is our best of web round, the Savage 16. And best of web, we take the Metacritic score, Rotten Tomatoes score, add them together. And this is where we will get some knockouts, some serious knockouts. We've got Midsommar up against Train to Busan, and who's going on to the next round? Train!
Oh,
wow.
This is where I had Train to Busan falling out.
Yeah. Oh
I
man.
did too. I didn't have Train to Busan going past the first round, but I had
Sweet
Midsommar.
victory. sweet victory. Those zombies are unstoppable. Unstoppable. How different. I mean, it was pretty close.
Yeah,
It
that's
was
nice. That's
very
not a bad. Yeah.
Combined score, Train to Busan had a 166, Midsommar had a 155.
Wow. Well, you know, it was a worthy matchup. That is a worthy matchup. I'll give
Yeah.
him.
I think so too. A very worthy matchup. If you have to pick 2 films to watch back to back this weekend, I would highly recommend those 2.
They're so different.
Wildly different, scary in totally different ways, satisfying in totally different ways, and also the sort of films that you'll want to watch again for totally different reasons.
Which would you start with and which would you end with? Would you start with the like action and then end all calmish or go the other way around?
I did it, I think, the right way. I watched Midsommar first, Train to Busan second. Yeah.
I don't know, because if you want to like chill out a little, you could watch Midsommar, but
Yeah.
like you could get all hyped up with Train to Busan and then, but yeah, that's a tough one.
I mean, it's
You have
almost,
those two going up against each other in their brackets to choose.
I did, but I had a Midsommar winning.
Oh, I see. Interesting. What pushed Midsommar for you? But
Well, I haven't seen either.
that's amazing. That's amazing.
So,
but you had Midsommar winning.
I kinda am not gonna lie, but I pulled a Phil and was like, Fuck Jess's pick. I'm going with Midsommar.
Yeah, look what happened.
That's what you get for going against the champ, man. Oh shoot.
The numbers don't lie.
Come for the champ, you're gonna lose.
Oh,
Sweet.
that's brutal.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, in my own bracket, since Train to Busan was knocked out in the first round, I had Midsommar going on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It would have been a good choice had not Train to
Yeah.
Busan come along.
I think so too.
Much like a train charging through the zombie-infested wasteland of South Korea, it just blazed through our brackets.
Which is exactly what it does. Ooh, another tasty, juicy matchup. Halloween 78 up against Pan's Labyrinth. And Pan's Labyrinth takes...
Surprisingly close as well.
As I say, if Pan's Labyrinth wins the Macabre challenge, that's going to be wacky. I mean, it might
Chris
have
is gonna lose his mind.
wild.
I would be very happy because I picked the movie. I didn't pick it to win, but I picked the movie. So
yeah,
That's some cred. That's still some cred if it wins. If
right,
you,
yeah.
I
can kind of see Chris's perspective that it's not a horror movie, but there are some very horror scenes in it.
there's some.
It leans fantasy, but I mean, it's got some monsters in it.
Fantasy can be horror. I think you can have a fantasy.
Yeah.
version.
Well, and Guillermo del Toro, like he leans real heavy on the creepy. Like when he does, even when they're not necessarily like monsters, he leans really heavy towards like creepy visuals.
Yeah, the aesthetic, the atmosphere is definitely horror movie.
Yeah.
It's almost, it is like fantasy horror because she's in this fantasy land, but it is not like a little lollipops and candy fantasy land.
Right.
There are freaking monsters. So.
There's dangers and then she goes back to the real world and it's even worse.
And it's Franco's Spain, so that's no good. Yeah.
Well, and that's what I liked about the movie is that her fantasies are absolutely tied to her reality, because you wouldn't have, to me, I love the movie because as much as a young kid would love to escape her reality by dropping into fantasy, she can't fully escape the awful reality that she's in. And to me, that just rings true. Like, you just wouldn't be able to escape totally the truth of what's happening around you by dreaming. Yeah, it's
the other thing too that I love is she doesn't want to just save herself. Like she wants to bring her mother, and when her mother dies, she wants to bring her baby brother with her, and she can't just save herself.
Yeah.
That's a great film. It'll be interesting to see how we discuss that one as it goes on.
There'll be subtitles against subtitles.
That's true. You can't use that against either of them then.
I was gonna say Ryan might not watch them, but that's okay.
No, that's too much work. How can you drink if you got to fucking read?
Pan's Labyrinth is actually, like, quite honestly, like one of the most beautiful movies I've ever seen in my life. Like it's superb, supremely well done.
I really do love it.
Okay.
Also, Train to Busan is a zombie movie. You don't really need subtitles to know what's happening.
That's fair.
The full zombie awesomeness just by watching.
My name is this. My name is this. Roar! And then
and
it's kind of like oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god. Like there's no like, and then like crunching sounds. So yeah.
How does one say crunch in Korean? Crunchy sound.
Or like zombie hissing, like gurgling, you know.
It sounds very similar to American. Yeah, sounds very similar to American. Just slightly. I don't know. I can't think of anything funny.
British zombies have a lot of cheek.
British zombies are so proper.
Yeah.
No, the 28 Days Later zombies are similar. I think they're a little faster than these ones. These aren't like preternaturally fast, but they're like twitchy in a creepy way, and the twitching does not slow them down at all. So they're at least as fast as people.
Yeah. The twitchiness I thought of as like sometimes they reminded me of people doing like a fucked up robot dance. Like they...
Sure.
There you go.
Have you guys seen I Am Legend?
Yeah.
It's been a while, but yeah.
Are they vampires or are they zombies?
They're vampires.
In the book they're vampires.
Yeah.
Okay. Never mind then, because I was gonna say they were really fast zombies, but they're vampires.
Heath Ledger still has not made an appearance, I think, on any Macabre Madness tournaments.
That's true.
That's a good point. That one's got a dog death.
That one's got a bad dog death.
Let's not talk about
Yeah.
that one, man. Like, I love that. Gym.
Let's not talk about it.
Okay, moving on. We got Dawn of the Dead up against Death Proof, and Dawn of the Dead getting the win. 78 Dawn of the Dead. We had 165 points for Dawn of the Dead, 142 for Death Proof.
Fair enough. I
Let's
just
say that one I'm not as surprised about.
no.
Surprised
Death
Death Proof
Proof-
made it as far as it did.
I put
Yeah,
it
I'm
further
with
just
you on that.
because I wanted to talk about it. It was like hopeful optimism, but it's fine.
Yeah, I feel you.
I
I feel
understand.
because I think you could argue Death Proof into a later round.
How? What's your argument?
It's a fun. Tarantino loves his words, and of all the films where Tarantino loves his words, that one is the most fun to listen to them talk to each other. There are
Like-
parts, no, dude. There's parts in Pulp Fiction that I fast forward through because I'm like, shut the fuck up already. I've heard this 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Death Proof, they're actually really fun to listen to. I don't know.
I would
What I
say
was-
Tarantino's
hoping-
another one.
Come on, Kurt fucking Russell.
Right, but I was hoping for a Silence of the Lamb versus Death Proof. You have two serial killers that do it two different ways. I
Yeah.
thought that would be a very interesting matchup.
Yeah. Or like Texas Chainsaw versus, although that's not quite, but yeah, I would like a better matchup.
Yeah.
The serial killer.
Right, more realistic.
Like a charming killer versus another kind of charming killer.
Right,
Like a
that's
Hannibal
actually-
Lecter
yeah.
against
Yeah.
another charming killer.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Or
to-
Stuntman Mike, you know, I mean,
Like
I mean,
a Hannibal
that's
Lecter against Ted Bundy.
Oh yeah, definitely getting those Ted Bundy vibes. Absolutely.
Yep.
Ooh, that would be fun.
hmm
All right, moving on to the next one. Ooh, we got Babadook up against Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and it is a 1-point game.
Oh
You
shit!
rigged it.
Wow.
You rigged it.
Body Snatchers comes away with the win,
Holy
knocking out Babadook by 1 point.
I'm so upset right now. I'm gonna sign off, guys. I'm so
Oh
upset.
no!
oh, shit, whoa, stop your bitch.
The
all right? I got
underdog
knocked out in the
goes
fucking
under.
first round, all right? Like with a
By 1
legit
point though,
movie.
Ryan. 1
Terrifier
point.
is a legit movie. You made it with the Babadook. Like, come on.
By 1 point though. Come on. I want a rematch. I want to see the math. I want to see
The
the
internet has spoken. The internet has spoken. So it was very close. So Babadook, to recap, Babadook got an 86 on Metacritic and a 98 on Rotten Tomatoes. Invasion of Body Snatchers, a 92 on Metacritic and a 93 on Rotten Tomatoes. Enough to squeak by with 1 point.
You know what this tells me? This tells me that we can pick some fucking good horror movies if they're that close to each other.
I think so too. Oh,
Stop
God.
trying to console me, Ryan.
Aw.
No, I'm really not, because you didn't console me at all. I was knocked out in the first round. Like, you're in the Sweet 16. Knock it off.
Oh, the shit talking gets
Uh-huh.
real.
Oh, but I just wanted to talk about the Babadook. God damn it.
Yeah.
We could just do a Babadook podcast because
We
I
should.
haven't seen it, so
We
I should see it and then do a podcast.
So
I
like,
love your
this has
commitment.
been the one
We still
random
want to see
movie that has snuck up on all of us. So I totally think we should watch this movie and review it.
Yeah.
I think so too. Sorry, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. You might be moving on, but we want to watch Babadook. All right. Moving on. Ooh, we got one Exorcist up against Marianne, the TV show, and Marianne, the TV show, comes away with a huge win, not even close.
What the hell?
100.
Right there. Yes.
This show
Oh
must
my
be really good.
God,
Must be
TV
really
show.
good.
Holy shit, then why didn't anybody put in shit, what's that on FX?
American Horror Story.
American Horror Story. That shit probably would have fucking
Yeah.
won.
We would have had to, pick the right season of American Horror Story, and you could have gone all
That's
the way.
true.
hmm
But fucking Johnson, man, he'll be happy to hear that his TV show pick, his random TV show pick, is moving out of the Savage 16
Hey.
and into the semis.
What happened, bud?
Damn.
Wow.
I don't even know what to
An
say.
upset. Two in a
Right.
row. 2 upsets in a row.
I literally have nothing to say about that one. All right. Ooh, Silence of the Lambs up against Deep Red, and it's Deep Red.
Oh, this is fixed. I agree. That's impossible.
No, it's not. Not at all. In a billion years is that impossible.
No, after
Check
some
my
of the
math.
upsets, I'm not surprised. This is ridiculous.
But it was another very close match. Deep Red had
That
100.
is really close.
Wow.
The
2
Rams,
closes in a row. That's crazy. Well, not quite in a row, but
181. Well, and let's go back to the rounds that we had. So the Rotten Tomatoes rounds, they both had 96% on Rotten Tomatoes. So very high scores coming out of Rotten Tomatoes. It was the Metacritic score that did them in. Silence of the Lambs, 85%. Deep Red, 89%.
That's wild. What is up with these folks?
I love doing the Metacritic in the first round because it is
yeah. I think
that's
it's a much more interesting
very
way to
hard.
do it, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
kind of upsets our brackets a little more.
it's fucking
Makes
crazy.
it interesting.
It's exactly like this year's March Madness. It's like I doubt if anybody will get a perfect bracket this March Madness because I know our Macabre brackets are already severely fucked.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Although both you and Jess still in it.
Yeah. My Macabre bracket is way better than my NCAA bracket. Like by far. So
All right. And then getting into our last round or last matchup of round, or not last matchup, second to last, Hereditary up against Cube. And Hereditary, a big win.
yeah.
That's a big one.
I just watched that movie recently. It is crazy. We could do a whole podcast on that movie as well. It's
I think that's another one we should do.
yeah.
That was another one where I kind of agree with Phil. That was one where it had a ton of hype when it came out. And so I just never watched it. Same with Midsommar. I still haven't seen that partially because of the hype, but I just never saw it. But I've heard it's great.
Same director. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
There you go.
Same director. And I don't even know if I can make any judgment on either one of them until I see Hereditary, because I haven't seen Hereditary yet.
Oh, it's good. It's creepy. It's for rent on Amazon right now. It's not free anywhere, but it's like $3.99. I think it's worth it for $3.99.
Yeah. That's blockbuster prices.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah.
No, it was scary. I want to talk to people about it. So
Yeah, that's one I definitely want to watch.
yeah, we can do some podcasts after this, like the ones we didn't get to talk about that we really wanted to. Let's add this to the list.
The contenders that we thought could have been.
Although actually Hereditary is going on, so it's not out of the picture just yet.
Hereditary
That's true.
moving forward. So yeah, any of you listeners at home, if you see any of like these big upsets that you want us to do a podcast on, let us know, because we've already got thoughts on ones that we want to talk about later. So yeah, send us your thoughts, which ones you want. And our final matchup of the Savage 16, we had It Follows up against Texas Chainsaw, and It Follows taking down the original Texas Chainsaw by a hefty amount. 178 for It Follows. 167 for Texas Chainsaw.
This one almost broke me, like deciding between. I had everything else filled out and I just stared at this one for the longest time because they're so completely different.
Yeah.
It's just, you can't even compare them.
I had Chainsaw winning. Yeah.
I was like, honestly, I could have gone either way. I did choose It Follows, but it very well could have been Chainsaw. I couldn't pick.
Flip a coin. That was one of those ones, right?
More or less. Yeah.
Well, my bracket is totally screwed.
Oh, yeah, my bracket.
Although I think I've got some of the big ones. Like I think I have Hereditary still in there.
Yeah, so
I think I have Pan's Labyrinth still in there too.
Yeah, I got Hereditary still in there. I've got Deep Red, of course.
I might actually still have Deep Red in mind too.
I've got Body Snatchers. Actually, I knew what I was doing with Body Snatchers. I knew I was picking a fucking winner. I also had Dawn of the Dead going on. I still got Dawn of the Dead.
Oh shit! I actually don't have Pan's Labyrinth still in there. I had The Shining beat the Pan's Labyrinth.
Did those two go up? No, because The Shining got knocked
No,
out.
because The Shining got knocked out. Yeah.
Yeah, I had The Shining
So
going.
I kind of screwed myself there.
Yeah, and I had Get Out going really far. So that
I did too. Yeah.
basically
So I
in
definitely
that
screwed
chunk,
myself.
that upper chunk, I only have Train to Busan. Everything else is out.
I think the only one I still have in is Hereditary. Because I
Damn.
had The Witch going really far.
Oh, and I still have
And
Silence of the
that's-
Lambs on here, and that one is fucked. So
Yeah, I had The Witch going really far.
it wasn't that good.
So yeah, to recap for our quarterfinals coming up, we got Train to Busan up against Pan's Labyrinth. We've got Dawn of the Dead 78 up against Body Snatchers 78. That's gonna be a fun one. We got Marianne, the Cinderella of Cinderella's TV show, up against Deep Red. And then Hereditary against It Follows. Ooh, that's going to be another juicy, like 2010s matchup.
You guys should watch Hereditary before we do that if you have seen It Follows, because I want to talk about it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there we have it, guys. Oh, man, that was some fun shit. That was like some serious surprises. And I have no idea where these ones are going to go because we got good films up against good films heading into this quarterfinal round.
Yeah, this will be some good
There's
conversation.
some good ones in there. Yeah.
So yeah, of course, come back, stay tuned. The next rounds, the way that those ones work, they are all discussion and commentary and coaches having to defend their picks. And so Jessica, she's going to have to defend Train to Busan. Kaylin's going to have to defend Pan's Labyrinth. I will have to defend Dawn of the Dead original up against my own film, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Johnson's going to have to defend Marianne against my Deep Red. And then Jessica, Hereditary, and It Follows, right?
I think that's me doing both of those. So does it make sense for like us to, like me to pick one and someone else to champion the other? Or
I think so.
because like you, I think you have one up there. Although did I pick Dawn of the Dead or did you? I feel like I might have chosen Dawn of the Dead 78. I can't remember.
Let's see, Dawn of the Dead.
No, that wasn't me.
Oh, you did have Dawn. Yep.
Oh no, it was. You're right. I looked wrong. So that'll be easy. Then do you want the other one of It Follows or Hereditary?
Yeah, sure.
Or if Ryan wants to do
or
one?
maybe or Ryan could pick one, or maybe Ryan could defend Hereditary or It Follows, one of those two.
I have Hereditary going on after that, so I could defend Hereditary.
I will do It Follows.
I like them both, so I could defend either.
Right.
So whatever one you don't want to do, I'll jump on.
All right, I'll do Hereditary since I have that in my bracket already, and you can do
All
it.
right, cool.
Although it hurts me to argue against It Follows because that is a kick-ass movie, so.
Sweet. Well, that's for the next round. We made it through 3 rounds. We went from 60 films to 8. Holy shit, guys.
Wow. It was a bloodbath.
It was savage.
I'm going through my bracket now and marking everything red that I got wrong, and it's bad. It's bad, guys. It's bad.
Brutal. Oh man. Well, guys, always a good one. It's been fun, and I'm out of beer. I gotta go grab another one. But good talking with you guys. As always, good talking horror films. Cannot wait for the rest of Macabre.
I think none of us were sure what was happening.
Is he frozen? No.
It's a final countdown.